A warm welcome from George Sparky Anderson Field as we have a Saturday edition of the California Collegiate League. It's the Conejo Oaks versus the San Diego Waves, an affiliate part of the California Collegiate League. Alongside Sammy Fauna, I'm Gino Canias. And well, the Conejo Oaks are going to look to rebound after a tough 7-5 loss on July 4th versus the Philippines Baseball Group, a game that came down to the wire. They couldn't finish it off, and it was truly that fifth inning, Sammy, that they allowed 7 runs, and that was the game itself.
Yeah, the Philippines Baseball Group turned the entire game upside down in that one inning alone, and they never relinquished that lead. And in doing so, or the day before, really, I should say, they had snapped a 9-game winning streak, so now they're off to a 2-game winning streak. And yeah, the Oaks, they definitely want to break into the win column today against the San Diego Waves. Waves, on the other hand, coming off of a 7-5 victory recently against the MLB Academy Barons from this past Tuesday. So it's going to be another important game for the Oaks, and, you know, they get to play another affiliate of the CCL. The San Diego Waves do not have any home games. They travel, just like Philippines Baseball Group and the San Diego Bombers, but the Oaks, it's a time for them to rebound. They're 13-8 right now, so it's getting a little closer with the record.
Well, it's the third and final affiliate team that the Conejo Oaks will see this week, and we'll bring you onto the field as it's Alex Umland now making his third start of the season for the Oaks on the mound. The sophomore from Oregon University, as the San Diego Waves and their blues and the Conejo Oaks and their baby blues here on a Saturday afternoon. Up first for the Waves is Jacob May. We'll get to your batting order now. It's Jacob Hudson to follow, Matthew Thomas, McKenna Olaso, Austin Palmeras, Andreas Nielsen, Dimitri Sasitko, Connor Gomez, and Tyler Covington is your San Diego Waves batting order, as this is the first matchup between these two teams this season. Yeah, you talked about it. The San Diego Waves sitting at 3-4 on the season, while the Conejo Oaks at 13-8. They have an 11-4 home record. As we already mentioned, dropped that 7-5 loss versus the Philippines Baseball Group, who yesterday, or still is, the 8th team in the South Division. So it was a tough loss for the Oaks, as they're going to look to try to rebound here, as that is first pitch, first strike for Alex Umland. He's pitched 11 total innings, allowed 7 hits, and has 8 strikeouts. As they said, he went around. Strike 2, 0-2.
Yeah, it is interesting to point out that the Conejo Oaks now have played 3 times as many games as the San Diego Waves this season. They've played just 7 total games. They've won 3 out of those 7. So, it's going to be an interesting way to see how things unfold. These teams will play each other twice this season. The next time they will play each other will be on the 19th, 2 weeks from today.
Umland deals the payoff. Swing and a miss. Down goes May for the first strikeout for Umland. That's up to 9 on the season.
Great start for Alex Umland. Yeah, the last time we saw him was last Saturday when the Oaks were the home team at Ventura College, when Umland pitched in what was a 7-6 win for the Oaks in 11 innings in walk-off fashion, thanks to a wild pitch that capped it off.
Now brings up the right-hander Jacob Hudson as he chops that to second base. Gonzalez is going to catch it on the hop. Throws to first in time to Landon West, and that gets the second out. 2 down for the Oaks.
Pretty routine, as Gonzalez could sort of stand back and relax on that one and let the hop come to him and make the routine throw.
So now with 2 outs, it's right fielder Matthew Thomas at the plate. And get to your defensive things for the Oaks is Jacob Galloway behind the dish today. Landon West now making his second start at first base. Ethan Gonzalez, Tyler Hawley making his first ever start at shortstop, as that's inside for a ball. It's Jonah Dawson at third base, and from left to right, Jax Jimenez, Tommy Kenlinger, and Lucas Danuitz, man in the outfield. Swing and a miss. Count now 1-1. And yeah, you mentioned it. They only play a total of 13 games this entire season. If you go back to 2024, the San Diego Waves competed in the... As that is driven into left field, it's going to drop for a base hit. It's a 2-out single for Matthew Thomas to keep the Wave alive in the first inning.
Good piece of hitting there by Matthew Thomas, who has previously been at UC Berkeley hit 1 home run this past season.
It's now Makano Olaso, the catcher today for the Wave. He's a senior at Hawaii University, but those 13 total games the Waves are going to play is significantly less that they played last year in 2024. As Umland fits a strike on the outside corner. It's now 0-1. They played in the California Premier Collegiate League last year. Played 42 games over 50 days. The Oaks this season are going to play 38 regular season games, so as that's grounded to third base, Dawson collects. He throws the second in time to get the third out. So just one on base retired as we head to the bottom of the first inning. Still squared 0. We come to the bottom of the first inning as Alex Umland made quick work of 4 batters. Now brings up the Oaks for the first time today. Ethan Gonzalez, the leadoff man, making his second appearance as the leadoff man this season for the Oaks. He's at second base today, and on the mound is David Gordon, the junior. Spent last season at Southwestern University, the past 2 seasons at Southwestern University. Making his third appearance as Gonzalez pushes a fly ball into right field. That's Thomas back there, able to make the catch. But a well-hit ball by Gonzalez.
Yeah, that was really well struck, and the sound that had off the bat and how much that ball carried may have put a little fear into the heart of David Gordon, but yeah, going all the way back to the wall, it was a great running catch by Matthew Thomas and right, who jumped up to get it.
A 1 pitch out to start things defensively for the San Diego Wave. Up now is Jacob Galloway. And to get to your batting order for the Oaks, Tyler Hawley due up next. Devin Wilkes, Landon West, Lucas Danuitz, Jax Jimenez, Jonah Dawson, and then in the cleanup at the 9 hole is Tommy Kendlinger. The first time we've seen him actually the bottom of the order. He's the typical everyday leadoff man, but he's still out in center field today as the count is 1-0 now to Galloway. Takes the ball outside. 2-0. Well, Gordon's making now his third appearance of the season. He's pitched 2 total innings, has 2 strikeouts, 1 walk, 4 hits, has a 9.0 ERA. Last saw him on June 20th versus the Forsters in a 14-3 loss. He pitched 1 inning, allowed 1 run, 2 hits, had 2 strikeouts, and 5 batters he faced as Galloway takes another ball inside this time. Count now up to 3-0 for Galloway. The Oaks currently in second place in the California Collegiate League. It's outside for ball 4. A 4-pitch walk for Galloway. It's the first base runner for the Oaks today. Now brings up Tyler Hawley, who had the day off yesterday in the Oaks 7-5 loss. Batting .283 on the season, has 11 runs, 17 hits. One of 5 Oaks players with a home run this season. We saw him get his first and only home run last Saturday versus the Riptide at Ventura College, where he crushed it down the left field line. 1 out. Hawley grounds that off to the left. Foul. Now 0-1.
Little different look defensively, too. We're seeing Tyler Hawley playing shortstop today. Also, we saw Galloway in left field for, I believe that's the second time we've seen him there, but he's starting as the catcher today.
It's Hawley's first start, though. 0-1 pitch as Hawley lifts a fly ball into center field. May's going to move in front to get it. And there's the second out as it keeps Galloway at first base.
Well, a couple games back, we saw Tommy Kenlinger, also another guy, get the day off, and he was back yesterday, and he'll be in the 9th spot. But some changes. You would suspect they'd be in order after a loss like the Oaks had yesterday. It was a close game at the end, but certainly took a significant toll.
Yeah, one guy that has a strong day is at the plate now. Devin Wilkes with 2 outs, runner on first base as he grounds that up right center field. Galloway's going to turn it for 2. He's going for 3. The throw is not in time as Wilkes now gets into the second base. As it's a double to start things for Devin Wilkes, as that has an exit speed of 103 miles per hour. And Devin Wilkes continuing where he left off yesterday and keeps the Oaks alive with 2 outs.
And that sends him now. He's on an 8-game hitting streak. This is a bat that the Oaks need to stay consistent in the lineup, and he's been doing just that. He has only played in 2 hitless games, but he's been hot at the plate.
It's now 19 hits on the season for Devin Wilkes. That brings up Landon West. Runners on second and third. West looks at a off-speed pitch outside for a ball. Count now 1-0. West was 1 for 3 yesterday. Got his first hit of the season. The 1-0 count to West. Drives one to shortstop. Hudson gets under it. His throw over to first is in time, as Gordon is able to leave 2 Oaks stranded. We head to the top of the second inning. Still 0-0. We welcome you back to George Sparky Anderson Field as we are through 1 inning. We're topped at the second inning as the Waves now back at the plate. It's Austin Palmares to get things started, the second baseman, batting .222 on the season with 4 hits and 4 runs. The freshman at Saddleback Community College. He played his freshman year there in 2025. Appeared in 33 games, had 15 runs, 23 hits. As he pushes a fly ball into right center field, Kendlinger moves all the way over to his left to make the play. And that gets the first out of the inning.
Well, one pitch, one out quickly, and you know that kind of consistency that pitchers can build up can often translate to a good outing, or at least a steady outing, even if you give up a run or two.
Yeah, Alex Umland just allowed the single from Matthew Thomas in the first inning, but was able to make work of the other batters, as that now brings up Andres Nielsen, the third baseman. Looks at a ball low and inside. Count now 1-0. Nielsen, a senior at Saddleback Community College. He played in 29 games this past season, had 79 at-bats. The 1-0 now. Outside for ball 2. Nielsen, growing up, played multiple sports. Until he was the age of 10, he decided that baseball was truly the sport of choice. He played soccer and football growing up. As he looks at another ball outside, 3-0. Has one sister, Hannah, who played softball at the University of Illinois. So a sport and baseball family. Originally from Mission Viejo High School. As it's a 4-pitch walk for Nielsen. It's the now only 5th walk that Umland has allowed this season, but it gets a base runner on for the now 2nd time today for the Waves.
The 1-out walk here, you saw the Oaks get one of their own from Galloway, and we'll see if the Waves can respond good enough to score a run to capitalize on the walk.
It's Dimitri Sisitko at the plate as he looks at a ball low now. Another Saddleback Community College player. Was a freshman this past season. He appeared in 42 games. So the past 3 batters we've seen all Saddleback Community College players. The 1-0 as Sisitko fouls that off to the left, hits off the Oaks dugout.
Yeah, there are 5 Saddleback Community College players on this team. You've got Dimitri Sisitko, Austin Palmaris, Andreas Nielsen, the ones we've seen, and then also Jacob Hudson and Jack Gallison.
1-1 to Sisitko. He grounds it to second base. Hawley pitches it over to Gonzalez. The throw for 2 is not in time. So it just gets 1 out, as it's a fielder's choice for Sisitko.
Yeah, Sisitko hit that just soft enough to give him just enough time to reach first. You saw Tyler Hawley field it pretty quickly and throw it pretty cleanly and throw it very quickly to Gonzalez at second base to get Nielsen, but Sisitko just beats the throw to first.
So 2 outs, runner on first base as Umland checks, and well, the Oaks are all too familiar with close calls at first base. We saw a few times yesterday, Lucas Danuitz, what looked like he made it on time or safely to first base, was ruled out, ended up being costly. So that's upstairs for a ball. Count now 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting to think about the timing that an umpire might see if it is different than what a crowd sees in up close and real time.
Gomez looks at a ball inside, now 2-0. Connor Gomez just batting .143 on this season, has 1 hit. Has been hit by a pitch once. 2-0 to Gomez. As he looks at a strike inside, count now 2-1. Gomez spent 2025 with Irvine Valley College and 2024 with San Diego Mesa College. Another check back at first base. Sisitko slides back safely. Like we explained last time with the Philippines baseball group, the affiliate pretty much a tryout to see if they can be part of the California Collegiate League. So 3 teams in the South Division, as that is grounded to short. Hawley gets under it. His throw in time to Landon West to get the 3rd out, as it's a beautiful play on the run for the shortstop. As at the bottom of the 2nd inning, 0-0. back here for the bottom of the second inning as it's Lucas Daniel, it's Jax Jimenez, and Jonah Dawson all getting us started for the Oaks. Lucas Daniels yesterday, he was 0 for 4 with a walk and a run, but we talked about in that inning just before, there was that double play, the 6-4-3 double play back in the 8th inning where it looked very suspicious. I mean, it looked like Daniels had actually gotten it as he grounds the ball to third base. Nielsen gets under it, takes his time and throws to first as it's the first out. One pitch, one out.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to him before the game, and I told him that I thought he was safe, and he was like, yeah, it was a tough play. He thought he was safe too, but you know, I think that's one of those situations in college ball especially where it is what it is, and have to roll with the punches sometimes.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Oaks, they just couldn't capitalize at the end of that 9th inning. They had 2 guys on base as Jimenez takes a strike. Jimenez had the day off on Friday, was back out at left field on Wednesday in their win versus the Bombers. Looks at a ball outside. Count now 1-1. Jimenez batting .222 on the season, has 5 runs, 10 hits. Another player with a home run this summer for the Oaks. Looks at a ball upstairs. Count now 2-1. So 2024, the Waves they were finished 21-21 in the California Premier Collegiate League. They lost in a championship series versus Palm Springs as Jimenez looks at an off-speed strike outside. Count now 2-2. They lost in a best-of-3 series, 2-1. They were founded in 1995, the 2-2, as Jimenez pushes a fly ball into center field. May does his best to get under it, but he can't. And it drops for a base hit. Yes. 1 on with 1 out.
Looked like May was playing pretty deep out there in center field because, you know, that's a ball that you play sort of a little more regular. I mean, you know, it was kind of borderline right in between, like very high and just low enough. But, you know, Jax Jimenez able to find a hole with a fly ball shallow enough to make May come and run in, and he gets the second hit of the day for the Oaks.
It's now Jonah Dawson at the plate. Looks at a strike on the outer part of the zone. Well, Dawson at third base today. We last saw him at third base back on June 27th in the Oaks 4-1 win versus the Foresters on the road. 0-1 to Dawson. It's a fly ball foul off to the right. Count up to 0-2. Due up next is Tommy Kenlinger. Well, yeah, for the first time we've seen him on the bottom of the order. Usually the first guy we see up for the Oaks, but it's the last guy today. 0-2 count to Dawson. Jimenez at first. Dawson hits another fly ball into right foul territory. It's going to get out of the field, so count remains at 0-2 as it's David Gordon beginning his second inning of action. This is actually his first start of the season. He's played in 2 games. 0-2 to Dawson. Exit a ball low and outside. Count now 1-2. So the Oaks just 2 games behind the top-seeded Santa Barbara Foresters at 13-8. The 1-2 pitch to Dawson. Drives another one foul off to the right. That one's actually going to get over the netting and end up in the Cal-Lou parking lot. Count remains 1-2.
Yeah, that extra screen right there, it can only protect so much height, but it is high enough that if a ball is hit over, it would be hit too high too soon to reach the parking lot, principally.
1-2 to Dawson. Looks at the ball in the dirt. Count now even at 2. Jimenez at first base. He has 3 stolen bases on the season thus far. That puts him at 3rd on the team in that category. The payoff from Gordon as Dawson grounds that right past Nielsen, the third baseman, just goes right through his legs. As it'll be an error on the third baseman, and Dawson advances to first.
Yeah, that one just ate Nielsen up. I mean, Dawson hits a solid frozen rope ground ball that Nielsen just didn't quite get his glove low enough to field that ball. He, sort of, just it looked like it sort of skidded a little bit, but just an unfortunate break for the Waves.
So Tommy Kendlinger up for the first time today. He was 0 for 4 in yesterday's game. Had 2 stolen bases along with a run. He struck out twice. Batting .259 on this season, second on the team with 14 runs. Has 15 hits. The 1-0. Kendlinger looks at a strike in the lower part of the zone. Count now 1-1. So it's Jonah Dawson. Jonah Dawson at first base. Jax Jimenez at second base. Just 1 out for the Wave. The 1-1. Kendlinger hits that straight back. Count now 1-2.
Well, I think as teams are seeing throughout the season, Kendlinger is a guy that you definitely want to keep off the bases because he is more than a threat to steal a base. He's got 7 stolen bases this season.
Yeah, leads the team in that category. The 1-2 to Kendlinger. An oops swing as it's going to foul off to the right. And it was almost a great play out by Gomez. That'd be Connor Gomez out on first base.
Yeah, Connor Gomez made one heck of an effort there. He did everything he could, but that ball was just a little too far to his left. Nothing you could do there.
So count remains at 1-2. Runners on first and second for the Oaks. 1 out. Kendlinger pushes a fly ball into left field. Sisitko is going to make the play out there in left field. It's going to hold the runners at first and second as it's not hit far enough to advance Jax Jimenez over to third base.
Also really hit to the wrong side of the field in that situation. If that's to right field, then Jimenez may have a chance to go to third there, but ball hit in front of him. It would be a much easier throw for Sisitko out there in left field.
Ethan Gonzalez back at the plate for the second time today. He's 0 for 1. Looks at the ball outside, popped out to right field in his first time at the plate. Gonzalez, a senior at Cal State Los Angeles. The 1-0 pitch. Takes a strike on the outside corner. Good framing job by Olaso to bring that into the zone. Count out 1-1, 2 outs. Dawson and Jimenez on the bags as Jimenez is the lead guy at second base. 1-1. Gonzalez takes a ball high. It's now 2-1. This past season, Gonzalez played in 51 games, had 195 at-bats, had 31 runs, 47 hits, 15 RBIs, and 1 home run for Cal State Los Angeles. The 2-1 pitch. Gonzalez looks at a 1 in the dirt. Count up to 3-1. And Gonzalez, well, we mentioned he was on a 9-game hitting streak, but he did pinch hit in Tuesday's game, which broke the streak, but he's back on a 2-game hitting streak if he can extend it to a 3 with a single or any sort of hit here. The 3-1. Swing and a miss. As Gordon delivered a fastball on the outside to get Gonzalez to chase. Count now full.
Nice execution on that corner by David Gordon. You know, it puts a lot of pressure when you've got a 3-ball count on a hitter and less than 2 strikes.
The payoff from Gordon. Runners go as Gonzalez chops that into Gordon's glove. He's going to throw it over to first in time. That gets the 3rd out. As it's another inning that Gordon has left. Runners stranded for the Oaks. We head to the top of the 3rd. Still squared at 0. Back to the top of the third inning here at George Sparky Anderson Field alongside Sammy Fawn. I'm Judo Conius, and a quick shout out to our sponsor, Pizza Man Dan's in Moore Park, California. A hot pie is just a call away. So the Waves in the third inning, just one hit on the day so far as Umland begins his third inning of action, as that one's fouled off to the right. Count of 0-1. It's the bottom of the order to get things started. Tyler Covington, the sophomore at Orange Coast College, played 38 games this past season, had 44 hits, 22 RBIs as he ground one foul off to the left this time. Count now 0-2 as he's down the count quick.
Alex Umland minimized the Waves to one base runner per inning so far.
As that's inside, as Covington has to duck away not to get hit by that one. So 1-2. The Oaks looking to bounce back after a tough 7-5 loss to the Philippines baseball group. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Down goes Covington. It's the second strikeout for Umland to get the third inning started.
It's a good off speed by Umland as the bottom just dropped out of that one as it dropped sort of below Covington's knees.
So brings back the top of the order, and Jacob May, center fielder today for the San Diego Waves, struck out his first time at the plate. So he grounds one to second base. Gonzalez gets eaten up by the ground ball, and May's going to advance to first off an error by Gonzalez.
Yeah, you feel for Gonzalez. That ball took a high hop, and perhaps it may have hit right off the steep part of the grass right before it became the dirt. But see the ball, Gonzalez, he tried to guide his glove right toward it, but must have hit right off the side and just hit off a place where it deflected right away and had enough momentum to hop high.
It's Jacob Hudson now for the second time today as he looks at a ball in the dirt. So it's the first defensive error for the Oaks today. Now the Oaks and Wave both with errors at one apiece. 1-0 to Hudson. Drives one into center field as Kendlinger with the diving grab to get it for the second out, as the center fielder continues to wow out there in the middle of the outfield.
Kendlinger and that glove is like a ball magnet. I mean, you saw Kendlinger right on top of that baseball immediately as soon as it was hit, and when he came in, you just had a feeling that he was going to work more of that magic, and for him, he'd probably tell you that's business as usual.
It's now Matthew Thomas with 2 outs as he looks at a ball upstairs. Yeah, Kendlinger's been one of the stronger outfielders for the Oaks all summer long, and just another example and another play to add to the highlight reel that he's put together this summer. 1-0 to Thomas. Takes a strike. Count now 1-1.
Thomas with the lone hit for the Waves so far today.
Yeah, singled back in the first inning. The 1-1 pitch to Thomas. Takes a strike as another 77-mile-per-hour slider by Umland continues to cause fits for Thomas. Count now 1-2.
Great location there, and perhaps even more excellent movement.
So runner on first for the Wave. It's a 1-2 pitch to Thomas. So he grounds one just foul off to the left. It rode along the third base line for a second and then veered left to go foul. This count remains 1-2 as it's McKenna Olaso due up next for the Wave. The 1-2 pitch. Here comes the payoff from Umland. It's in the dirt as off goes runner Jacob May. The throw is not going to be in time as it's a stolen base for Jacob May, now his third of the season.
A good eye and move from Jacob May from first to second. You saw that ball hop right off of Galloway, and his throw to second base was too high, and that allowed May to slide in there.
Ball was outside, so it's 2-2 count now to Thomas. Umland deals. That one's hit hard, foul off to the right, and that lands against in the parking lot. And that is the type of ball that they do warn you about in the parking lot, because there is a section where there is a warning sign saying there is a potential for balls to be hit here. Matthew Thomas just giving that warning a little bit more clarity. Now 2-2 to Thomas. Runner on second base for the Wave. The payoff from Umland. Grounds that at third base. Eaten up is Dawson, and it's the second error of this inning, as now Dawson and Gonzalez have been eaten up by ground balls.
Yeah, they share that commonality with Andreas Nielsen for the Waves, and similar hop to what Gonzalez took, in the sense that skipped right off of the ground and hit right off the heel of Holly's glove and just skipped right, or Dawson, I beg your pardon, skipped right in between him and Tyler Holly. And this inning stays alive.
Yeah, we've seen the dirt play a factor with some funky hops of the ball. It's now McKenna Olaso who hits a fly ball out in right field. Danywitz goes back to the wall, and on the warning track is able to make the play, as it's 3 outs as Umland leaves 2 stranded for the Wave. We head to the bottom of the third inning. Still no score. Back in the bottom of the third inning, as we're still scoreless through 2.5 innings, as it's Jacob Galloway to get things started for the Oaks. And the Oaks were able to get out of a top of the third inning where they saw 2 defensive errors, as Umland left 2 base runners for the Wave stranded, and Galloway up for his second time today. Well, he walked his first appearance and was brought all the way to third base on a double by Devin Wilkes, as he looks at a strike on the outer part of the zone. Count now 0-1. Well, the Wave have been around since 1995. In fact, this is their 30th season as a program. It's 0-1 to Galloway. Looks at ball in the dirt. Well, like we mentioned, they're an affiliate for the California Collegiate League this year. They played in the California Premier Collegiate League last year. They've been a part of the Western Baseball Association and the National Baseball Congress. Since 2000, they've won 8 league titles. The 1-1 to Galloway. Outside for a ball.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful to see, like, that deep into a program, 30 years, they're still trying out, you know, for other leagues and conferences. And, you know, this is certainly a great league to really test your skill, as the CCL is very competitive.
Galloway hits a high foul ball off to the left, and that's going to be Olsa that's going to be able to make the catch in foul territory. So he has to go up above to make the play, so it's 1 out for the Waves. Brings up Tyler Hawley for the second time today. He's 0 for 1. Popped out to center field. Currently coming into this game working on a 2-game hitting streak. And the San Diego Wave head coach is Jack Rico, currently an assistant coach at San Diego Mesa College, where he's both played and coached. As Gordon fits a strike in the inner part of the zone. Count 0-1. Gordon deals. Hawley hits a ground ball to shortstop. Hudson gets under it. His throw is in time to get the second out. As Gordon's now retired 4 straight batters back from the second inning and here in the third inning. Now brings up Devin Wilkes with 2 outs.
Well, yeah, going back to what I was saying before, I think for the San Diego Waves to, serve as an affiliate for the CCL, if they, should they make it into the CCL officially, that would be a great big jump for the team and its franchise.
And a way to do it is beat a team that just won the championship last year in the Caneo Oaks. 2 outs to Wilkes. As he grounds one to short, and Hudson collects on the hop. He's going to his throws in time. As it's 3 up, 3 down as Gordon retires the side. Head to the 4th inning. We're still scoreless. We're 1/3 through this game as it's still scoreless, and Alex Umland begins his 4th inning of action alongside Sammy Fawn. I'm Judo Kanyas, and another shout out to our sponsor, Pizza Man Dan's, Moore Park, California. So Alex Umland, 2 strikeouts heading into this 4th inning. Austin Palmares is going to chop one as that eats up Holly in short, and it's now the 3rd defensive error of the day for the Oaks. And just 1 hit still for the Wave.
Welcome to the chopper hopper party, Tyler Hawley. As that one just, as you said, and just ate him up square. And we've seen that happen now at all 3 infield positions other than first base.
The Oaks are hoping that Landon West doesn't join that party.
It's not an invitation he wants to get, or he'll decline it.
So now Andres Nielsen he takes a strike. Count now 0-1. Well, there was those 2 defensive errors back in the 3rd inning. Well, Umland was able to work out of that and still leave 2 guys stranded for the San Diego Wave on base. But sooner or later, those mistakes might catch up to the Oaks. 0-1. Nielsen just hits that into the dirt for a foul. Count now 0-2. So just the first of 2 meetings between the San Diego Wave and the Caneo Oaks. The Wave last played on Tuesday versus the Academy Barons. 0-2. Nielsen is able to reach out and get the base hit as it rolls into center field. So two batters now on, or two base runners now on for the San Diego Wave.
And
still
just
0 outs.
Just the second hit of the day for the Waves. That one went right in between the legs of Alex Umland. That was a hot shot off the bat of Nielsen.
Yeah, Nielsen had to reach out to make that hit right there, but it was successful as it brings way to Dmitry Sasitko, his now second time today. He advanced on a fielder's choice. So he looks at a ball outside. When you go back to that game for the Oaks versus Philippines baseball group, really just half an inning made all the difference. They were pretty much in control. Caden Beloyan pitched a great game. Now 1-0 to Sasitko. Chomps one to Holly. He's going to pitch it to Gonzalez. They're going to try to flip it for 2, and they can. It's a 6-4-3 double play for the Oaks. And a much-needed one after the multiple defensive errors. So now that brings way to Connor Gomez. That still advances Austin Palmares to third base, but Nielsen and Sasitko are both victim of the double play. So Connor Gomez grounded out to short. His first time as he hits a fly ball out into left field. Jimenez moves up, but Holly calls him off. But back to Jimenez to make the third out. So after a error to start this inning, it's a 6-4-3 double play and a pop out to left field as the Oaks get out of another one. We head to the bottom of the fourth, still scoreless. We bring you back to George Sparky Anderson Field alongside Sammy Fawn. I'm Judo Kanias, and it's Landon West to get things started in a scoreless game. As the Oaks double play 6-4-3 led way to a pop-out fly ball by Connor Gomez. It's another inning that Alex Umland has gotten out of a little bit of traffic. As West takes a strike on the outside. West grounded out to shortstop last time. Swing and a miss. As Gordon now begins his fourth inning of action, which now is a season high. He's only pitched in the past 2 games a collective of 2 innings, and each game he's pitched just 1 inning. The 0-2 to West. In there for strike 3 as Gordon freezes West and gets the first strikeout of the day.
Yeah, not really sure what West was looking for there. That pitch was right down the pipe, but certainly a good strikeout for Gordon. As, yeah, the Oaks defensively, they've had 3 of those errors on those choppers in comparison to the Waves' 2, or the Waves' 1.
Daniewicz looks at a strike inside. Count now 0-1. Daniewicz grounded out to third base last time at the plate. Yeah, and Alex Umland has been able to still work through those defensive struggles as Daniewicz drives the ball into left field and it's going to drop for a base hit. It's a 1-out single for Daniewicz. So it brings way to Jax Jimenez, who is 1 for 1 on the day. He had a single back in the second inning, but was left stranded. Jimenez, someone certainly with a lot of power, one of the 4 Oregon players on the Oaks roster, as he pushes a fly ball out into left field. Back goes to Sitko. He's able to make the play, and Daniels is going to have to retreat all the way back to first base after pretty much reaching second base. So it's now 2 outs for the Waves. Brings way to Jonah Dawson, the third baseman, who reached on an error his last time. That was the error that we saw on third baseman Andres Nielsen, as it pretty much just nutmegged him and rolled down to left field.
Yeah, I guess kind of the opposite from what errors the Oaks have seen.
Jonah Dawson drives one into right field, but Thomas is over there to make the play. And so it's 3 outs once again for the Oaks, and another base runner stranded. We head to the top of the 5th inning, still 0-0. Begin the 5th inning. It's back to the bottom of the order for the San Diego Waves. It's Tyler Covington, the designated hitter, up for his second time today. He's 0 for 2 as Alex Umland continues his day on the mound. And he's worked out of some traffic. He's seen 3 defensive errors as Covington pushes a fly ball out into left field. Jimenez waits for it and makes the play. It's a 1-pitch, 1 out to get things started in the 5th inning, as it's now Jacob May up next.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of good contact today, but you know, those long balls, they've been not landing a whole lot where fielders aren't. We've seen some well-placed hits shallower on the field, but yet to see a run in action.
May looks at a strike outside. So Umland with 2 strikeouts today. He's up to 10 on the season now, as that's outside for a ball. Umland, one of the 2 Oregon pitchers on this staff. The other, Gabe Howard, who we last saw on Wednesday in the Oaks 6-5 win versus the Bombers. The 0-1 pitch to May. It's going to get past Galloway in the dirt for a ball. Count now 1-1. Due up next for the Waves is Jacob Hudson, the shortstop. Swing and a miss. Count now 1-2. Count even at 2 now. So the payoff, that's fouled off to the left. It's a high fly ball out to the left, and it hits off the Oaks dugout. Count remains at 2 apiece. So the Oaks are going 4 straight games versus affiliates. The Bombers on Wednesday, saw the Philippines baseball group yesterday, the Waves today, and back against the Philippines baseball group tomorrow. As that one's a short chopper. Umland just pretty much able to get under it and throw it to time to first base. Gets the second out. And Umland pretty much did not have to move off the mound to collect the short chopper by Jacob May.
Yeah, and you see the frustration subtly from May as he chopped that one, as he kind of, shakes his head down and, still makes his run to first. But, regardless of how you feel, you always run it out, and that's what he did. But Oaks able to get the second out.
Hudson hits a fly ball, foul off to the right. Hudson 0 for 2 today. Is second on the team in batting average with a .429. There's 2 runs, 6 hits. Looks at a ball low. Count now even at 1. Due up next is Matthew Thomas. But right now it's 2 outs. The 1-1 pitch. Hudson looks at a strike inside. Count now 1-2. So even with all the defensive errors, Umland has responded well. It's a scoreless game through 4 innings. The 1-2. Chop foul off to the left.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing a pretty good pitcher's duel here with no runs yet. And, compared to yesterday where the Oaks scored 2 in the first inning and then 1 in the third, then, of course, the Philippines baseball group erupted.
Swing and a miss. Down goes Hudson as Galloway's going to tag him for the strikeout. It's Umland's 3rd strikeout as he retires the side in the top of the 5th inning. We head to the bottom. Still even at 0. Back here in the bottom of the 5th inning, George Sparky Anderson Field, as we are still scoreless, as it's the 13-8 Caneo Oaks facing off versus the 3-4 San Diego Waves. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon here in Thousand Oaks. It's 81 degrees. As Kendlinger bunts that, it's going to stay, just goes foul as it veers off to the left.
Yeah, beautiful bunt. Just had a little too much spin on it and curved foul. Of course, if that stayed fair, Kendlinger's easily at first.
Yeah, with his wheels, he's got a good shot at making. Well, I think we saw a similar bunt yesterday of Kendlinger's where he just laid it off pretty nice. But, yeah, just the spin made it roll out foul. So Kendlinger comes back to home plate. Ethan Gonzalez hands him his bat back, and we're now at a 0-1 count as Kendlinger is 0 for 1 today, popped out to left field. The senior from Biola University, 0-1. Kendlinger pokes the ball into right field. It's going to land in the glove of Matthew Thomas as it's the first out of the inning.
Yeah, Kendlinger just slices that one to right, and Thomas in the right place at the right time, just has to raise the glove.
So that brings up the top of the order, Ethan Gonzalez. 0 for 2 today, has popped out to right field and grounded out to first base. Gonzalez looks at a ball outside, 0-1. The San Diego Wave currently in 5th place in the South Division at 3-4. 1-0. Gonzalez looks at another ball outside and low. Now 2-0. For your standings in the South Division, the Santa Barbara Foresters 15-6, the Caneo Oaks 13-8, the Arroyo Seco Saints 10-9, the Orange County Riptide 11-11. 2-0 as Gonzalez fouls that off to the right. And it's another ball that goes over the netting into the parking lot at Kowloon.
Yeah, the San Diego Waves sandwiched right in between the Riptide and the MLB Academy Barons in the standings. Waves recently having beaten the Barons this past Tuesday.
2-1. Gonzalez looks at a ball low. It's now 3-1, a hitter's count here for Gonzalez, who's looking for his first appearance on the bags for the Oaks today. As he grounds that to second base, Palmares collects and fires to first in time to get the out. It's now 2 down for the Waves. Leads away to Jacob Galloway. Working on 2 outs right now for the Oaks, as he's 0 for 1 today. He hit a pop foul ball that McKenna Olaso was able to make the play and walked his first plate appearance. Made it all the way to third base, but the Oaks are hoping for a little bit more here, as it's still a scoreless 0-0 game in the bottom of the 5th inning. Pushes a fly ball into right field. May retreats back towards the wall, and he's going to wait to make the play out there in center field to get the third out as Gordon retires the side, and we head to the top of the 6th inning. Still scoreless. Head to the top of the 6th inning as it's still scoreless between the San Diego Waves and the Caneo Oaks. As it's the 3-4-5 to get things started for the Waves. So it's Matthew Thomas at the plate first, and a pitching change. The first for the Oaks. It's Xander Allen Fox making his now 7th appearance on the mound this season. First pitch is fouled off to the left.
We last saw Xander Allen Fox this past Sunday on June 29th at Great Park against the Riptide in the Oaks' 11-3 loss. He also pitched in the previous brutal loss against the Riptide, which was his previous performance before that.
0-1 to Thomas. Thomas takes a ball low, count now 1-1. Well, he's pitched a total of 7 innings, has allowed 7 hits, 9 runs, 6 of those being earned. 4 walks, has 3 strikeouts, a 7.36 ERA. The 1-1 to Thomas is fouled off to the right. Count now up to 1-2. Wellman finished the day with 3 strikeouts, just allowing 2 hits and a scoreless 5 innings. The 1-2 to Thomas. That's in the dirt for a ball. Count now even at 2. It's McKenna Olaso due up next for the Waves. And yeah, they're just a very short season for them. Only 13 total games they will play this entire season. The 1-2 to Thomas. High and outside for a ball. Count now up to a full 3-2 count. The payoff from Xander Allen. It's chopped foul off to the left.
Thomas putting up a nice at-bat against Xander Allen Fox. And, yeah, as you mentioned, if the Waves can beat great teams like the Oaks and continue to show great progress, it can extend their seasons and get them closer to removing the affiliate tag.
Thomas drives one into left center field. It's going to drop for a base hit. And it's a leadoff single to get things started for the Waves. It's now just only their 3rd hit of the day. It's McKenna Olaso now at the plate for the Waves.
Well, yeah, we've seen the Waves been able to find those gaps a few times, but they have not built up a consistency with that yet. And, Thomas gets a good part of the bat there and is able to locate it where Kenlinger is not, and that's not a small feat. It's hard to top Kenlinger in the outfield.
First pitch to Olaso. Inside for a ball. Well, for Thomas, that's now his 4th consecutive game with 2 hits. So he now puts himself at a 4-game hitting streak. So 1-0 to Olaso. Allen Fox deals. Swing and a miss. Count now 1-1. Got him to chase the low ball inside. Xander Allen Fox, a junior at Grossmont College. Teammates with Anthony Thomas, Oaks catcher who we saw behind the dish yesterday. The 1-1 as Fox checks at first base. Thomas is able to get back in time. Allen Fox appeared in 7 games, had 3 games started, had a 3-1 record, pitched 24 and 2 innings. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Count now 1-2 as Allen Fox goes to another low fastball that gets Olaso to chase. Olaso is 0 for 2 on the day. He's grounded out to third base and popped out to right field. The payoff from Allen Fox. It's low for a ball. This time Olaso stays patient. Well, he missed. Allen Fox missed the rest of this 2025 season due to elbow tendonitis. The 2-2 pitch to Olaso. Swing and a miss. The first strikeout for Xander Allen Fox today, now his 4th of the season.
Yeah, that ball had some good movement on it, and for the Oaks pitching staff, their 4th strikeout of the day.
1 out for the Oaks. Matthew Thomas stays at first base. It's now Austin Palmares, who's 0 for 1 today. Advanced on an error his last time at the plate. Allen Fox deals. It's inside for a ball. Well, I guess the early storyline for the Oaks today has just been defensive errors. They have 3 on the game. Gonzalez, Holly, and Dawson each with one. 1-0. Inside fastball, but almost hits off Palmares. He ducks away not to get hit by it, but count now 2-0.
Yeah, hit by pitches were also another story in yesterday's game. We saw them hurt both teams at times.
The 2-0 to Palmares. Hits that foul to the back. Count now 2-1. Just one out for the Oaks. Matthew Thomas for the Waves at first base. It's a scoreless game here in the top of the 6th inning. Alan Fox steals the 2-1. Hits upside for ball 3. Counts now 3-1 to Palmares.
I think one thing the Waves are going to have to do to get into the bullpen of the Oaks is make them work.
Drives that as Holly can't contain with his backhand, and it's yet. And that's going to be a hit for Palmares.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a trickier play for Holly than the last one that ate him up. I mean, you see that ball moving towards left field right in between Dawson and Holly. Holly, his momentum already taking him away from the first base bag. That was going to be a tough play anyway, even if he had fielded it. But he's able to knock it down and keep runners at first and second.
Now it's Andres Nielsen, the third baseman today for the Waves, as he chomps that just foul off to the right. So it's Matthew Thomas on second base. And now Austin Palmares on first base for the San Diego Waves. The Waves have had already a few opportunities with the runners in scoring position, but Alex Elman has been able to work through that traffic. But now it's Xander Allen Fox that's up to the task. 0-1. Swing and a miss. It's now 0-2 to Andres Nielsen, who was 1 for 1 on the day, had a single back in the 4th inning and walked in the 2nd inning. He's reached bags both times. Here comes the payoff from Allen Fox. That's driven into right field, and Landon West is not able to make the play as it now advances and gets bases loaded for the first time today for the San Diego Waves, as it puts them in a big position to score the first few runs of this game.
And Nielsen comes up with a key hit there, and Landon West, that ball was just inches away from his glove. If he catches that, that could, change the whole momentum of this inning, and, it just skips past him. And I think with 2 outs, that is likely an easy run for the Waves, because that you can't get doubled off even if the catch is made. But Waves able to go station to station, and they certainly have a chance to take the lead here and open the scoreboard.
So bases full of Waves. And Xander Allen Fox now in some real traffic as Jacob Galloway with a mound visit to his pitcher. So 1 out for the Oaks. It's Dmitry Sasitko up for the 3rd time today. He hit into a double play last time as he just chomps that foul. Almost an oops swing. So 0-1 to Sasitko. Advanced on a fielder's choice back in the 2nd inning and hit into a 6-4-3 double play back in the 4th inning. The 0-1 to Sasitko. Allen Fox deals. Sasitko hits a fly ball out into right field, and Danielewicz tries to get over. He does able to make the play, and it's a big play right there made by the right fielder as he's able to hold all base runners at the bags, and now it's 2 outs for the Waves.
That's a huge play for the Oaks right there. That ball shallow enough to keep Thomas at 3rd, and you saw at the last second just before Danielewicz made the catch that he started to step off of 3rd base in anticipation of either the ball dropping or just, giving himself the best chance to come home. But Danielewicz is able to make the catch, and it's a huge out.
Now Connor Gomez at the plate, the right-hander, was 0 for 2 on the day as he looks at a ball inside.
Yeah, if the Waves don't score here, they're going to look back and know that this was a costly opportunity. A lot of pressure now on Connor Gomez with 2 outs.
Just 1 hit on the season for Gomez, the 1-0. Pokes the ball into right field. Gonzalez tries to go back and make the play, and he can't, as it drops into shallow right center field and brings home 2 runners. As that's Matthew Thomas and Austin Palmares who are able to get home for the Waves. It's up now to a 2-0 lead off the 2-run single by Connor Gomez.
Yeah, nice piece of hitting by Gomez and great 2-out approach. He did not crumble under the pressure. He poked a ball in the air in a troubled spot right in between Gonzalez and Danuitz. And with 2 outs, an easy 2 runs as you get that head start.
It's the first 2 runs of the game as it's the first lead for the Waves, 2-0. Brings the bottom of the order, Tyler Covington. Looks at a ball upstairs. And that would be Connor Gomez's first and second RBI of the season. So the 1-0 pitch to Covington. Runners on first and second for the Waves. He looks at a strike inside. Count now 1-1. What due up next is back to the top of the order, Jacob May. So Xander Allen Fox trying to work through more traffic here. The 1-1 to Covington. He drives that past Landon West down the right field line. Home comes Andres Nielsen. Connor Gomez is going to stop at third base. It's a RBI single for Tyler Covington, and the Wave continue to roll on here in the 6th inning and scored another run. Now makes it 3-0.
Yeah, the Waves continue to crash on down against the Oaks, and you know, it'll be up to them going into the bottom half of this inning, pending more runs possibly, but Oaks will certainly have to surf their opponent today.
Well, it's the first real action we've seen at all today from either team. It's now Jacob May, the top of the order. Looks at a ball upstairs. So it all started with the 2-run single by Connor Gomez that brought home Matthew Thomas and Austin Palmares, and then that RBI single by Tyler Covington brought home Andres Nielsen. Gomez at third as that one's fouled off to the left. It's Connor Gomez at third base and Tyler Covington at first base. So runners at the corners for the Waves as it's 2 outs. And they'll look to add more insurance to a 3-0 lead here. The 1-1 pitch to May as Allen Fox checks. And Covington gets back safely. Count still 1-1 to May, who was 0 for 2 on the day. Advanced on an error back in the 3rd inning, as well as a stolen base. 1-1. Swing and a miss as May chases a ball outside. Count now 1-2. And a real opportunity for Allen Fox to stop any more bleeding in this 6th inning. The 1-2 from Allen Fox. Here comes the payoff. It's low and outside for a ball. Count now even at 2.
Yeah, and this is really the 2nd day in a row where we've seen it happen where the Oaks starter has a quality start and then, or in this case, yeah, both times pitches 4 shutout innings, and then, you know, the relievers.
And Allen Fox freezes him on the corner for strike 3 as he's able to get out of the inning, but not before the Wave jump out with the first lead of the game. They lead 3-0 after RBIs from Connor Gomez and Tyler Covington. We head to the bottom of the 6th. The Oaks will look to respond. We'll be right back. Back here at George Sparky Anderson Field alongside Sammy Fawn, I'm Judo Canius, and another shout out to our sponsor, Pizza Man Dan's in Moore Park, California. A fresh hot pizza is just one call away as the Oaks will look to bounce back after allowing 3 runs in the top of the 6th inning, but a few defensive changes for the Waves. It's now Steven Deacons on the mound as Holly hits a high fly ball foul off to the right as that one scrapes the sky. And Deacons now making his 4th appearance. He's just pitched in 2 total innings, but has a tough 45.0 ERA. Has allowed 7 hits, 5 walks, only 2 strikeouts, and 10 earned runs as Holly takes the ball inside. And also a pitching change behind the dish is now Cole Snidow, who replaces McKenna Olaso. So the 1-1 to Holly as he looks at a ball outside. As Holly's 0 for 2 on the day, and well, the Oaks bats are going to have to come alive now in the 6th inning and beyond if they want to win this game. It was a 2 RBI single from Connor Gomez and then a 1 RBI single from Tyler Covington. As Holly drives one into left field, it's going to drop for a base hit. Sadiko is able to collect, but Holly turns it for 2. He slides, and the throw is not in time. So gutsy base running from Holly pays off and gets a leadoff double for the Oaks.
Yeah, super gutsy base running there, and he did not hesitate. The moment he saw that ball, the moment he hit it, he was thinking 2 out of the box, and he just beats that relay throw from the shortstop Jacob Hudson, and his head first slide. It looked really, really close, but he's able to just get in there safely.
Well, now brings up Devin Wilkes for the 2nd time today as he looks at a ball outside. He got the first hit of the game for the Oaks back in the 1st inning. He had a double, but was eventually left stranded. So a real opportunity right here, and he's someone lethal as has 12 RBIs on the season. So he has the ability to bring guys in as he looks at another ball outside. And you do got to love that from Tyler Holly. You know, in a game where you're now down 3-0, you know, really willing to take the gamble, especially as the bats still need to come alive. And a runner in scoring position for the Oaks now as it's a 2-0 pitch to Wilkes. Fouls one off to the left.
Yeah, certainly, you know, a chance with nobody out and a runner in scoring position. The Oaks, you know, if you're the Oaks, you better score here.
So it's a 2-1 pitch to Wilkes. Looks at a ball upstairs. Counts now 3-1. For Steven Deacons, he's a sophomore at Westmont College. Made no appearances in 2025. Played his high school ball at Palos Verdes. The 3-1 to Wilkes. It's a foul ball straight back. Count remains 3-1. Well, you mentioned it last inning, Sammy, that we saw, you know, similar thing with the Oaks and the Philippines baseball group. You know, it was Caden Beloyan who had a great first 4 or 5 innings for the Oaks, and then when the relief pitchers came in, that's when the trouble started, and it was a similar situation in the 6th inning for the Oaks. So a full count to Wilkes as he fouls one back off to the left.
Yeah, and that's what's sometimes tough about the pitching inning limits that are enforced by, you know, teams and coaches of NCAA college teams. You know, pitchers can only go so many innings no matter how well they're throwing.
Yeah.
So really to conserve their arms for the season.
The payoff from Deacons, as that's a high chopper to second base. It's going to eat up Palmares. So it's the 2nd defensive error for the Waves today and allows Wilkes to advance to first base and now puts runners at the corner for the Oaks as it leads way to Landon West. Comes up for the 3rd time today. He's 0 for 2.
Yeah, I think Palmares got frazzled there. I think he came in a little too close and overran the chopper. You know, you've seen choppers like that, and you know that could have a bounce high enough where if you stay back a step or two, you can take it in the glove. But
yeah,
came in a little too hot and just skipped off his glove.
It's now Landon West who looks at a strike on the outer part of the corner
And, you know, Holly, he's at third either way, but the Waves definitely missed out on a big out there.
0-1 to West as he hits a high fly ball out into left field. Sasitko is going to try to make the play over there, and he can as Holly tags on from third base, but he retreats as the throw from Sasitko is a fast one, a rocket over to home plate, and a smart play by Holly to stay put at third base. So it's now 1 out for the Waves. It's a real opportunity for the Oaks to chip away at this lead now with Lucas Daniewicz at the plate.
Yeah, certainly a big out in left field, and you saw Hudson. He was pretty close and almost right in the throwing lane of Sasitko.
So it's now Daniewicz, who is 1 for 2 on the day, takes the ball outside. He singled back in the 4th inning, but was left stranded after David Gordon retired the next 2 batters. Daniewicz has 9 RBIs on the season. 1-0. Looks at a ball low. It's Devin Wilkes at first base, Tyler Holly at third. The Oaks trailing by 3 here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Daniewicz representing the tying run.
2-0. Daniewicz fouls that off high to the right. It's now 2-1 as Jax Jimenez is due up next for the Oaks. Runners at the corner for the Oaks. The 2-1. Daniewicz grounds one to shortstop. That's going to eat up Hudson as Holly's able to come home. And so it's an RBI for Daniewicz as it gets the first run of the game for the Oaks. It's now 3-1 Waves.
Boy, Jude, I'm telling you, this is not the day to play on the infield. Another defensive mishap, and we've now seen an error from all 3 infield positions minus first base on both teams. Yeah, for both the Oaks and the Waves. You know, you saw Nielsen at third and Palmares at second and Hudson at short. All have been eaten up by a ball or 2.
As it's Jack Jimenez. He's going to take a ball upstairs. Well, that's now 2 defensive errors just in this inning alone. Their first defensive error came back in the 2nd inning off a ground ball by Dawson. So it's 1-0 to Jimenez. Runners at first and second for the Oaks. Jimenez drives one straight into the glove of Gomez as then he taps on to first base to get the double play. And so we get out of the 6th inning, but the Oaks able to chip away just a bit with a 1 run. It's now 3-1 Waves. We head to the top of the 7th. We are now 2/3 through this game here at George Sparky Anderson Field as it's now a 3-1 ball game in favor of the San Diego Waves. We went through the first 5 innings scoreless, and it was the 6th inning where the Waves were able to score 3 runs themselves, and at the bottom, the Oaks just got 1. It's now Cade Berry on the mound for the Oaks as the second pitching change, as that's chopped, and that's going to be Dawson that charges towards it. His throw is not going to be in time, as it's an infield single for Jacob Hudson to get things started in the 7th inning.
Yeah, that's just one of those plays truly as a third baseman that can't do much about. It's just really the hand you're dealt on that ground ball, and see Holly charge it fast, but Hudson with his speed as a shortstop, he beats it easily.
So it's now Matthew Thomas, who is 2 for 2 on the day with a run, and that's in the dirt, and that ball's going to get past Jacob Galloway, and it's going to be an easy stolen base for Jacob Hudson, who pretty much just has to jog to second base.
Yeah, it looked like from here that ball skipped right off of the left leg of Galloway, you know, the right side of his left leg, and skipped right over to his right, enough to allow Hudson to get to second.
So Cade Berry now making his 6th appearance this summer for the Oaks. We last saw him July 1st, which was this Tuesday versus the Foresters. Just went less than an inning as Thomas drives that straight into the glove of Gonzalez to get the out, but is not able to get the double play as Hudson retreats quickly back to second base.
Gonzalez again, you know, at right place at the right time, and fortunately for Hudson, he was not too far off the base, and he had just enough time to get back.
So it's now McKenna Olaso, who was subbed in for Cole Snedo as the catcher. So it's 1 out here for the Oaks. It's a high fastball. Well, Olaso is 0 for 3 on the day. It's been struck out, popped out, and ground out. 1-0. Swing and a miss. Sparky gets him to chase on the outside pitch. Now 1-1. So the Oaks just chipped away with a 1 run in the bottom of the 6th inning. It was off an RBI from Danny Wentz, brought home Tyler Hawley. The 1-1. Is he able to fit one inside for a strike? So it's 1-2 now. And that was an inning for the Waves. There were just a few defensive mistakes. There was 2 errors. 1-2. High and upstairs for ball 2. It count now even at 2. So both teams now with 3 errors, as it's a 2-2 pitch to Olaso. Swing and a miss. Down goes Olaso as Berry gets his first strikeout of the day. And it puts 2 outs on the board for the Oaks.
Yeah, Berry really just got him to chase right there. He saw the bottom just drop out of that pitch. And, you know, something that the Oaks do pretty well is they have great command of those nasty off-speed pitches that drop low. They're able to get batters to chase.
It's now Liam O'Day, the freshman at UCSD, coming out as a pinch hitter for Austin Palmares as he grounds 1 to short. Holly catches on the jump. His throw to first is in time for the 3rd out. So after allowing a single, Berry retires the next 3 batters, and it's time to get up and stretch for the 7th inning stretch. We'll be right back. So after a 7th inning stretch, we're back here in the bottom of the 7th inning as it's Jonah Dawson, the number 8 batter for the Oaks to get things started as Tommy Kendlinger due up next. Dawson's 0 for 1 today as he takes a ball low. No, he goes around, so it's a strike. So 0 and 1. Dawson reached on an error back in the 2nd inning, but was left stranded as it's an 0-1 pitch upstairs. And Steven Deacons beginning his 2nd inning of action.
Yeah, Dawson was a flyout victim his last time up in the 4th.
The 1-1. Dawson looks at a ball outside. Count now 2 and 1. So behind the dish is Cole Snedo, who I guess is a defensive replacement for McKenna Olaso. The 2-1 as Dawson chomps that foul off to the left. So the Oaks with some work to do here in the 7th inning and beyond as they trail 3-1. The 2-2 pitch to Dawson. Upstairs for a ball. It's now full as Dawson searches for his first hit of the day. Has 5 total hits on the season, batting .179, one of 2 players that played for California Lutheran University. The payoff. Dawson drives that foul off to the left as third base and skipper Coach David Solis has to duck out, not get hit by that one. So a full count for Dawson. The payoff from Deacons. Dawson hits that straight back. Count remains full, so putting up a good fight here in the first at-bat. That's all you can ask for right now for the Oaks batters who are trying to work their way back from a 3-1 lead, or 3-1 deficit.
That's going to be the key for the Oaks to figure out, how exactly to get into the Waves' pitching, from a contact standpoint, get reps and experience at the plate, make them work.
Payoff. That's upstairs for a ball, so it's a leadoff walk to get things started in the bottom of the 7th inning. As it's now the 2nd time on the bags for Jonah Dawson, leads away to Tommy Kendlinger, who was 0 for 2 on the day. Certainly a bat the Oaks would like to get hot right now. He's popped out to both right and left field. It's now Dawson on the bags, who has 1 stolen base on the year. Kendlinger looks at a strike inside. Counts 0 and 1. So the Oaks trying to come back after a tough loss yesterday as there's a check at first base. The Oaks this week are 1 and 2. Began their week versus the Foresters on Tuesday. Lost 4-2. Had a walk-off win 6-5 on Wednesday and lost 7-5 versus the Philippines baseball group. As that's going to hit Kendlinger in the left shoulder, and so he'll take a walk over to first base as it's now 2 runners on for the Oaks. Leads way to top of the order, Ethan Gonzalez. Now that's also now the 5th time this season that Kendlinger has been hit by a pitch. That would make him tied on the team. Tyler Hawley's also been hit 5 times this season by a pitch. So Ethan Gonzalez now at the plate. He's 0 for 3 today. Has 17 hits, which is 3rd on the team this summer for the Oaks. So runners on first and second. As Deacon deals, and Gonzalez goes for the bunt. He lays it down to the left. Deacons gets under it. His throw is in time to first base, but Gonzalez does his job and advances the runners to now both being in scoring position.
Good execution by Ethan Gonzalez. Small ball to move the runners over. A selfless effort by Gonzalez, and Deacons, he picked up that ball rather quickly. I almost thought he might have had a play at third base to get the lead runner, but gets the safe out at first. But now Galloway has a chance to drive in possibly 3, including himself.
Yeah, and Jacob Galloway is someone that is lethal at the plate with runners in scoring position. He has a team-leading 16 RBIs this season. So for any pitcher, he can cause problems. The first pitch, Galloway takes inside. It's Tommy Kendlinger at second base, Jonah Dawson at third. plenty of speed for the Oaks.
And the Oaks certainly have a chance to capitalize on their free passes that they have seen this inning.
Galloway 0 for 2 today. He also has a walk. The 1-0 pitch to Galloway. Looks at a ball low. Now 2-0. So just a 2-run deficit for the Oaks here. And with the swing of the bat, Galloway could give the Oaks their first lead of the game. The 2-0 pitch. Way outside for ball 3. So 3 balls, no strikes. It's Tyler Hawley due up next, and just 1 out for the Waves here in the bottom of the 7th inning. The 3-0 pitch to Galloway. He grounds that. That's going to get past the second baseman, Palmeras. It's going to bring home Dawson. Tommy Kenlinger coming in too. It's a 2-run single from Jacob Galloway, and he's got this game tied up at 3 as he continues to deliver with runners in scoring position.
And we have a new ball game here with a tie game. Galloway, that was a 3-0 pitch that he hit through the right side and got good contact on it. Didn't exactly hit it hard, but he got it good enough to sneak it right past the second baseman, Palmeras, and an easy 2 runs with how slow that ball was hit with Dawson and Kenlinger scoring. It's 3-3.
Now it's Tyler Hawley at the plate. Looks at the ball outside. So still just 1 out for the Waves. Jacob Galloway now at first base. It's now his 17th and 18th RBI of the season. The 1-0 to Hawley. Hits a fly ball out into right field. Thomas moves forward from his post, is able to make the play. The throw back to first base is not in time, as Galloway just nearly gets back safely.
Yeah, that was rather close at first base, and you saw when Thomas caught that ball, kind of trying to set himself up in a visual situation where Galloway wouldn't necessarily be sure of what kind of trick he was trying to pull, but Galloway, he very steadily went to the base and almost got a little too cocky.
So now it's Devin Wilkes working with 2 outs and a runner on first base. The first pitch. Wilkes hits a high fly ball as Thomas, all he could do is look because that ball is gone. You could forget about it as the Oaks have now their first lead of the game. It's 5-3 with an exit speed of 105. Devin Wilkes, that's your second home run of the season.
There was no doubt about that one. From the second it left the bat, that ball was way out of the ballpark. I mean, Devin Wilkes, the swing he put into that ball, crushed it way over the right field fence, right against the protective screen, and goes to show you why that screen is there. But yeah, just again, a no doubt home run to right field. You saw Thomas just trot back, barely trot, I should say, really, because he knew that ball was gone.
So it's the second home run of the season for Devin Wilkes as the Oaks have came to play in this bottom of the 7th inning as they now have 4 runs just in this inning alone, and now it's a 5-3 lead, their first lead of the game. And the bats are cooking now for the Oaks. 0-1. As West takes a ball low and outside. It's now 2-0 to West.
There is a saying here among Cal Lou's baseball team, welcome to the Sparky Anderson Electric Factory.
The 2-1 count now to West. And 2 outs. So it's been a rough inning for Steven Deakins, who has now allowed 4 runs. As that one's outside for ball 3. So the Oaks not going away quietly. 2 outs here. 3-1 pitch to West. Drives one foul off to the left. It's now up to a full count. as it's Lucas Daniewicz due up next. Here comes the payoff from Deacons. That's outside for ball 4 as a 2-out walk. As the Oaks continue to find ways on the bags in the bottom of the 7th inning, and it leads way to Lucas Daniewicz, who was 1 for 2 on the day with a single and a ground out to third base. He also has reached on an error and actually had the RBI that brought in the first run of the game, and that was Tyler Hawley.
Yeah, it looks like there's a mound visit here. We'll see if Deacons continues.
There is some action in the bullpen for the San Diego Waves. And so after a quick visit, Deacons will stay on the mound. And now Jake Schwartz is coming in as a pinch runner for Landon West out at first base. Just putting a little bit more speed on those bags. We saw Jake Schwartz in a starting position. He was at first base yesterday in the loss versus the Philippines baseball group. So the first pitch here to Daniewicz as the Oaks look to add even more into what is a 5-3 lead now. So he takes the ball outside.
Yeah, Daniewicz, with his hit, picked up his first hit in 3 games.
Takes the ball upstairs. Daniewicz leading the team, though, with 19 hits. You can add another one today, would make it 20. Still leading the team. 2-0. That just hits the outside corner for a strike. 2-1. So just one runner on first base for the Oaks. It's a 2-1 pitch to Daniewicz. Swing and a miss. As he chases the high cheese upstairs. It's now 2-2. So the Oaks have rebounded in this one after it was a scoreless baseball game through 5, and they've exploded for 5 runs in the past 2 innings. The 2-2 to Daniewicz. Looks at strike 3 as Deacons is able to get his second strikeout of the day, or his first strikeout of the day, but not before the Oaks come alive in the bottom of the 7th inning, and it's help off a 2-run home run from Devin Wilkes and some RBIs from Jacob Galloway. We head to the top of the 8th. The Oaks leading 5-3. Back here at George Sparky Anderson Field alongside Sammy Fawn, I'm Judo Conius, and we got a good one here as we enter the final 2 innings of Saturday action in the California Collegiate League between the Conejo Oaks and the San Diego Waves. And it was an explosive bottom of the 7th inning, a 4-run inning for the Oaks to give them their first lead of the game. It's now 5-3, and it's Winston Peterson on the mound as that's grounded straight into Jake Schwartz's glove. He's going to tap on the bag for the first down as he comes in as a replacement for Landon West.
Yeah, that 2-run home run by Devin Wilkes that went way over the wall. I mean, that had to just take the breath right out of Steven Deacons. It was a devastating shot to right field.
Yeah. Now puts his home run total to 2 on the season. So Winston Peterson making his 5th appearance as it's Dimitri Sadiko up for the 4th time today. Takes the ball inside and quite a staggering height difference, pretty much a foot. So says Dicko is 5'9", Winston Peterson is 6'8". So the 1-0 pitched to Sadiko. Looks at the ball low. Or strike. It's now 1-1. Peterson, last time we saw him was on June 29th versus the Riptide. He was pitched at 1 inning, just faced 3 batters. The 1-1 pitch. That's grounded to short as Holly's not able to get under it, and it rolls into center field for a 1-out single. Leads way to Connor Gomez.
Yeah, that ball was well struck by Sisitko, and Holly, he got to it. He couldn't get a good enough grip on it as he got the tip of the glove, but the ball just skipped right underneath and went into center field, and we'll see if the Waves can continue to respond to having allowed 4 runs in the 7th.
That's popped up high, and Schwartz tries to make the play, and he can as it just hits the tip of the ceiling of the Waves dugout and goes foul. It's now Cole Snido up batting for Connor Gomez. So the 0-1 to Snido. Looks at a ball upstairs. Count now 1-1. Peterson, a freshman at Pepperdine University. Made 13 appearances this past season. The 1-1. High inside for ball 2. Now 2-1.
Well, this is still anybody's game. Just a 2-run lead that the Oaks hold over the San Diego Waves. A chance for the Waves to respond quickly here.
So the 2-1 pitch here to Snido. 1 runner on is Winston. Peterson checks at first. So Sadiko slides back safely. Two-one pitch here to Snido as off goes Sadiko. That's going to be fouled off to the right, so he'll have to retreat back to first base. Count now even at 2. As Cole Snido is a redshirt senior, played at Phoenix University in 2024. Here comes the payoff from Peterson. He steps off, calls time, and the Oaks now leading 5-3 here in the top of the 8th inning. Looking to rebound after a tough loss yesterday. The payoff from Peterson. And they said he didn't go around, so it's low for ball 3. It's now up to a full count for Snido. Peterson checks back at first, almost able to pick off Siddico. So it's still a full count here for Sneedo. The payoff from Peterson. It's driven off to the right, fouled. Count remains at 3-2. Oh, the Waves are 1-0 on the week. On a Tuesday win versus the Barons. Looking to make it 2 in a row. But a 3-2 pitch. It's upstairs for ball 4 as Sneedo will take a walk to first base. It's now 2 runners on for the Waves.
Yeah, that's a great at bat by Sneedo. Him to really work the count and make Peterson work. And I mentioned earlier that's going to be one of the keys for both of these teams to come back against one another and just strike up more offense. And Cole Sneedo able to work the count full as the Waves have now 2 runners on with just 1 out.
It's now bottom of the order, but a hitting change is Ethan Bagani now replacing Tyler Covington. Covington finished the day 1 for 3. Had 1 RBI back in the 6th inning, responsible for one of those 3 runs. Bagani, a undecided junior. The left-hander here. Runners on first and second for the Waves. Off goes Sitko, and the throw is not going to be made by Galloway as it's now a stolen base for Sadiko. And now runners at the corners for the Waves, and a swing of the bat here by Bagani could regain the lead for the Waves. It's just 1 out for the Oaks here as Peterson trying to work through some traffic. The 1-0 pitch to Bagani. Looks at a strike on the outside part of the corner.
Yeah, Peterson certainly facing some hot water in the stolen base at third, possibly building more momentum for the Waves.
The 1-1 pitch. Bagani grounds one as Gonzalez is able to get under it in the sliding, but he drops out of his mitt as it brings home Sadiko off an RBI from Bagani. It's now just a 1-run ball game as the Oaks lead 5-4.
Yeah, Gonzalez did almost everything he could there. He was able to knock it down, but just couldn't pick it up or keep the ball in his grip. So the Waves now just 1 run away from tying the game.
So it's back to the top of the order as Jacob May looks at a ball inside and low. So now Sneedo on second base and Bagani on first for the Waves. Just 1 out. As Peterson tries to only keep the bleeding to 1 run. It's a 1-0 pitch to May. Hits the outside corner for a strike. Count now 1-1. So the Waves are putting on a good fight. The 1-1 pitch to May. He drives it straight into Peterson's glove. He's going to throw it over to Holly as Holly tags on second base and gets the out.
It's a lot of roaring reactions from the Waves bench thinking that Holly had skipped with the ball and did not have the base have his foot on the base with the ball in his hand at the same time. We'll see what the umpires end up making up with this discussion.
Bagani staying in second base right now, and it's kind of a chopper that landed right into Peterson's glove, and he pretty much turned 180 to go make the play behind him. And Holly, it looked like he had a little struggle controlling, but he definitely did touch the bag, and I guess the question is, did he have control while he was touching the bag?
Right.
And that'll be the question they're probably discussing right now in their huddle.
Yeah, question of whether he took his foot off the bag before being. Oh, and the call is overturned.
And the call is overturned, and Coach David Solis immediately out of the dugout, and he's going to have a good amount of words for the umpire. And so, with that call now being safe, the bases are full of waves. And I mean, it's still a fielder's choice. And he's having a good mouthful with the umpire.
Yeah, no idea what he's saying, but certainly he's
energetic.
Yeah, he's not holding back.
And it's certainly a big call. I mean, if it's ruled out, it's then 2 outs, and it has runners at the corner compared to a 1-out, bases loaded situation. And well, as much as Coach David Solis pleads his case, it's not going to change the call. So bases now full of waves. So Bagani now at second base, May at first, Gomez at third, or Snedo at third. Just 1 out for the Waves, leads way to Jacob Hudson. His first pitch, he takes the ball upstairs, and Hudson is 1 for 4 on the day, had a single back in the 7th inning.
Yeah, that big play, too, kind of started with Peterson looking to locate his receiving fielder to take his throw.
1-0 to Hudson as he looks at another ball upstairs. So Bagani responsible for the RBI in this inning to bring home Sasitko and make it a 1-run ball game, but the Waves with a real opportunity here to 1, take back the lead, and 2, potentially add even more runs. The 2-0 to Hudson looks at a ball outside. It's now 3-0. For Hudson. The 3-0. Hudson takes a strike on the inner part of the zone. Count now 3-1. So it's Snedo at third, Bagani at second, and May at first. The 3-1. Swing and a miss. Hudson chases a fastball outside, so an opportunity here right now for Peterson to hopefully chip away at this batting order for the Waves. The payoff from Peterson. That one's just fouled back. So Hudson's able to get just a piece of it. Count still full.
Certainly a big situation for the Waves, and I think just the emotion from that overturned call could boost up their confidence and their spirit and strength.
So the 3-2 pitch here from Peterson. It's fouled back once again, and I will say, I correct me if I'm wrong, Sam, but I think that's the first time we've seen the umpires actually reverse a call.
Yeah,
this season.
Reverses, they don't happen too often, but they can if possibly another umpire or two is more sure about a different call.
The 3-2 to Hudson. Chases about a strike. As Peterson gets a strikeout, and it's a big one to now put 2 outs on the board, and it leads way to Matthew Thomas, who's been one of the more effective batters as he is 2 for 3 on the day with a run, 2 singles.
And the Waves still one more chance this inning to do more damage, but a huge strikeout nonetheless. Of course, they still have a chance to capitalize on that break.
Thomas also reached on an error. It's 2 outs here. Thomas looks at a strike on the out part of the zone. It's now 0-1. Peterson now up to a season total of 10 strikeouts. The 0-1 pitch to Thomas. Takes a ball upstairs. Count now 1-1. Still just a 5-4 ball game. Bases loaded for the Waves. The 1-1 pitch here from Peterson. Low and outside for ball 2. It's now 2-1. So both affiliate teams, the Philippines Baseball Group, the San Diego Bombers, and the Waves have given it a good game to the Oaks. It's a 2-1 count to Thomas. He slices that foul off to the right.
Yeah, and I think in this game today, it's really been the mistakes that have been costing teams runs in every inning that runs have been scored, especially, you know, right here. And in this inning, there have been a little more tricky balls and shots off the bat, but Waves have been able to chip away.
The payoff from Peterson. That's chopped to third base. Holly's able to gun it under it. He pitches it to Gonzalez to get the third out. As it leaves the bases loaded, and Peterson just gets out of the inning, allowing 1 run. So we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Oaks just holding on to what is a 5-4 lead. We'll be right back. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning, as it's just 1 run separating the Oaks and the San Diego Waves. The Oaks ahead 5-4 here on a beautiful Saturday afternoon in Thousand Oaks, California. We welcome you all into our broadcast alongside Sammy Fawn. I'm Judo Kanias. Well, if you're just joining us, it was a scoreless game through 5 innings and then a 3-run inning in the top of the 6th for the Waves, as Jimenez grounds the ball straight to first base. That pitches over to Joshua Johnson for the first out. The Oaks also then got their first run of the day in the bottom of the 6th inning, and then it was a 4-run 7th inning for the Oaks that gave them their first lead 5-4, and Peterson with loaded bases only allowed 1 run in the top of the 8th inning, and now we're at a 5-4 ball game. As it's now Jonah Dawson up for the 4th time today. Looks at the ball low and outside.
Yeah, and you saw the Waves rally and make Winston Peterson work in the top of the 8th. They were able to score a run and make it a 1-run game.
As Dawson takes a strike, count now 1-1. So Joshua Johnson, a sophomore at Western Oregon University. He's made 4 appearances so far this summer. The 1-1 to Dawson. Pushes a high fly ball out to left field. So Sitko able to get under it on a run over to his right and gets the now second out of the inning.
Ball had some pretty good carry. Dawson, you know, he's not a home run hitter, but carried that ball deep out to left field, and perhaps you wonder if that shows some promise in the future.
So it's now Tommy Kendlinger coming to the plate with 2 outs. No runners on for the Oaks. Well, Kendlinger is 0 for 2 on the day. He was hit by a pitch. Was eventually brought in on a run on the 2-run RBI single by Jacob Galloway. It's part of a 4-run 7th inning. So the 1-0 to Kendlinger. Johnson deals. Kendlinger looks at a strike inside. Joshua Johnson in his first season at Western Oregon posted a 5.650 ERA. The 1-1 to Kendlinger as he slices that foul off to the right. Johnson this season has just appeared in 5 innings, has 2 strikeouts, 2 walks, has allowed 8 hits. Played on July 1st in the 7-5 win versus the Barons. The 1-2 pitch to Kendlinger. Fouls that in the dirt. Count now 1-2. In that game in the win versus the Barons, he went 2 innings. Allowed 2 runs, 2 of those being earned, 2 hits, had 1 strikeout, and 9 batters he faced. The 1-2 to Kendlinger. Takes the ball upstairs. Count now even at 2.
Kendlinger, we've seen him fly out twice today. He was hit by a pitch his last time up. It's always a threat on the bases.
2-2. Kendlinger looks at a ball low and outside. It's now up to a full count, as the Waves try not to allow anything more in the last 2 innings of the damage that the Oaks have caused. The payoff from Johnson. Kendlinger fouls that off to the right. Stays alive here. Here comes the payoff from Johnson. Swing and a miss as it puts Kendlinger down to his knees. And he gets the first strikeout for Johnson of the day, and he retires the side as we head to the 9th inning. A 5-4 lead for the Oaks. It's McKenna Olaso to get things started in the top of the 9th inning. As it's down to just 3 outs for the Waves to either tie this game or take the lead, or their day will be done. And so it's Winston Peterson back for his 2nd inning and hoping for a little bit less traffic in this one. This is the first pitch here to Olaso. Swing and a miss. Got him with the fastball outside. Now 0-1. Well, Peterson allowed 1 run. It was off an RBI single by Tyler Covington. I apologize, Ethan Bagani. So the 0-1 pitch. Olaso hits a high fly ball out, foul to the right. As the group of kids make their run and trying to collect the foul ball, you know. If you bring back a foul ball, you get a piece of candy.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good deal here.
Yeah. Although now the snack shack is closed, but hey, yeah. Always a done deal.
For next time. The 0-2 to Olaso. Upstairs for a ball. 1-2. So the Oaks looking to win their 2nd game of the week, as they're 1-2 in their past 3. The 1-2 pitch to Olaso. Chops that to shortstop. Gonzalez gets under and pitches it over to Schwartz. And that's in time for the first out.
Nice pick there by Tyler Hawley and
Ethan Gonzalez.
Or I beg your pardon, Gonzalez. And it is nice to see that after what's been a scrappy game on defense with balls taking tricky hops and just escaping the fielders, but good play all around.
It was a tough start to the day, both defensively for both teams. Pearson deals, hits a ball upstairs. So 1-0. It's now Austin Palmares, or Liam O'Day, at the plate. The 1-0 pitch to O'Day. Takes a ball upstairs. And O'Day is 0 for 1 today. Grounded out to short. So down to 2 outs for the Waves. They want to make any sort of comeback. 2-0. Swing and a miss. Another fastball on the outside corner. Gets a batter to chase. It's 2-1 to O'Day. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back pitches that Peterson has got him chasing. Now he's finding himself a little bit of a rhythm. So the 2-2 pitch here from Peterson. Swing and a miss. Good day and good night. As Peterson gets his now 2nd strikeout of the day. And it's just down to 1 out.
Yeah, that's huge for Solis to be able to keep Peterson in there after he allowed 1 run in what was quite an extensive top of the 8th inning, but he looks like he has put that inning behind him. And now just 1 more out to get, but it ain't over till it's over.
And it's Andreas Nielsen. As he grounds one into center right field. As Daniewicz is going to collect, but it's a base hit. So it's a 2-out single to keep the Waves alive.
Puts the tying run on first, and now Dmitry Sasitko represents the go-ahead run. If any run scores this inning, there will be a bottom of the 9th.
Yes, Sasitko, a .381 batting average. He's pretty much top 3 in every offensive category this year for the Waves. The first pitch. Outside for a ball. The Waves looking to, if they are able to get a win, go to 500. They're 3-4 currently. The 1-0 pitch. Sasitko chops that to short. Gonzalez pitches over to Moore, and that gets the 3rd out. And that is a ball game here at George Sparky Anderson Field as the Oaks rebound after on a one-game skid and get a 5-4 win versus San Diego Waves. They now sit at 14-8 and one game behind the top-seeded Santa Barbara Foresters. As we now bring you into the booth. And well, Sammy, it was a pretty quiet game through 5 innings. It ran like a track meet. I mean, it was so fast. And then, the San Diego Waves jumped out to a 3-0 lead at the top of the 6th inning. The Oaks responded. It was really that 7th inning. We saw the 2 RBIs from Jacob Galloway, and then obviously the home run by Devin Wilkes really capped this one and allowed them to pull through at the end of the day.
Yeah, and really the way I look at this game, the first half of this game was a game of pitching. The second half of this game was a game of offense. For the most part, today was not really a game of defense. The Oaks, 3 errors, and the Waves, 2. And, we saw so many just tough ground balls that took tricky hops on the infield. And all 3 infield positions other than first, 3 non-first base positions got tripped up with those ground balls. And at several points of the game, that ended up being costing factors. But the Oaks, they really responded today. And after that 2-run home run by Devin Wilkes, they never relinquished that lead. And they'll be seeing the Philippines baseball group again tomorrow.
Yeah, well, they were able to not allow their self-mistakes get in front of what is now their 14th win of the season. It's now 12 wins at home, puts their home record to 12-4. But like Sammy said, we'll be back here on Sunday for a matinee at 1 p.m. It's the Philippines baseball group back at George Sparky Anderson Field as the Caney Oaks will close out Week 5 of the California Collegiate League. Alongside Sammy Fauna, Benjito Kindness, and the rest of our Caney Oaks crew, we thank you and hope you have a good rest of the Saturday. We'll see you tomorrow.